Good morning. I know I played just a little clip there, but anyone that recognizes it, it's the beginning of Pink Floyd, the song Breathe. And I know that as migraine sufferers, we need to remember to do one thing. We need to breathe. Air helps us with our migraines as well as hydrating and other things. So, for Migraine International Patients Perspective and the Migraine Buddy Group, today's topic is going to be the emotional cost of migraine. So, what are some of the emotional costs that we deal with? And I'm sure that I'm speaking to the choir on this. Um, so, the first one I have listed is depression. We get to the point where our emotions lead us to a dark place because we feel that our migraines limit our lives and interfere with others. So those emotions can make us feel like the world is falling out from under our feet. In addition to that, a lot of migraine sufferers have low self esteem. And self esteem is basically how you view yourself in other people's eyes. We need to stay away from that because it doesn't matter what other people think unless they're abusing you with it. But self esteem is something that someone really can't take it from you. You have to give it away. Think about that. If you feel okay about yourself, you look in the mirror and you decide that I like who I am, I just have a problem that I'm dealing with. No one can take that away from you. The only thing is if somebody berates you or makes fun of you or just continues to degrade you because you're a migraine patient, it doesn't matter. It is something that you have to train yourself to like yourself. So that's basically self-esteem. Now, we all get weary. Weary can be an emotion too. You get tired of the grind. You get tired of doctors and different medications, and it's understandable that we get weary of it. But our life is a long road. So we have to find ways to get through. It doesn't mean you're going to be happy and cheery all the time, but it does mean that we need to find constructive ways to help our own emotional security. Because in some cases, based on medication, depression, low self esteem, those things that I just mentioned, some people actually become suicidal. Now, if there's anyone in this group or listening to this video that has had those thoughts, you should seek professional help. Look up a suicide hotline, talk to a pastor, talk to parents, talk to friends, talk to somebody because you're obviously in a very low place. And if you know you're a danger to yourself, connect with someone. So now a little less, a little less severe. We know that having chronic migraine or episodic migraine sometimes interferes with our plans. You know, you're going to go out to dinner, you're going to go to a concert, you're supposed to drive to a friend's house, whatever. And when you're breaking plans, that can add to the other conditions we were talking about. Um, I've done the same thing. Sometimes, when the migraines are a little less severe, um, I'll go out to dinner. I will go hang out with friends. But if I can't, I can't. And I just message them or have my wife do it and say, hey, let's do this another time. And sometimes my wife will say that, Stefan's not feeling very good, so we're gonna take a rain check. So sometimes our own families and our friends can get frustrated with us canceling events, but those are those things that if they know us and have been around us, we have to prepare them for it. Say, look, hey, I don't mean to bail out on things, but I have this problem that sometimes I have to deal with it and it's not easy to do. So we get guilty for the inconveniences that we cause other people. And the next thing is sometimes we get frustrated with the medications that don't work in our minds, and sometimes the doctors don't seem to listen. So that causes frustration, and it causes us to have second thoughts about, all of the other topics I've just mentioned as far as missing out on things and etc. We have to also advocate for ourselves with our doctors. The doctors, and I've been through many of them, if you communicate well with those doctors as far as giving them all your Migraine Buddy app information, and if you don't use the Migraine Buddy app, at least you have some detailed information either in your head or on paper that you can bring to them and say, this is what's going on. This is how many times a week I have headaches. This is how severe they were. This is what times of day. This is what medications I took and how often, etc. So we have to communicate with those doctors, and the better our communication is with them, the better the diagnosis and treatments will be. At least that's my hope. Now, if you run into a situation where you feel a doctor is not listening to you, then tell him or her. Let them know that the communication's not there, and if they're resistant or arrogant, ask them for another recommendation. Get a recommendation from your primary care doctor, or whatever you have to do to find another doctor if that's the situation. So sometimes we get a sense of loneliness that nobody else understands our condition. Now that can be true. It is one of those things that not a lot of people that we regularly associate with don't understand what a migraine is. If you've never had one, there's no way you can identify. So again, we have to advocate for ourselves and let them know what to expect. And another helpful thing in this situation is to provide them a track to help you. When they realize that you're having a migraine, get you an ice pack. Ask if you need pain medication, essential oils, or whatever it is that helps you deal with getting through a migraine. Let the people around you know what those things are that they can do to help. Do that in advance when you don't have a migraine. Now, as far as the loneliness goes, that's why groups like mine exist. We've up to like 1,450 members in 30 countries, and the conversations I've had with members, either by text or by video call, they appreciate groups like this because it gives them a place to vent and ask questions of people that have the same condition. It's like being part of uh, what's the name of that card game? Euchre. Being part of a euchre group. This is our giant euchre group for migraines. And, if you ask a question, you're likely to get an answer because everybody else has been through it. Out of 1,400 people, there should be someone that has experienced what you've experienced. So, in addition to loneliness, some of us have relationship troubles. Whether it's a spouse, a parent, a teacher, an employer, or anybody else in your life, sometimes those people not only don't understand, but they feel like you're not contributing to the relationship, so they're not able to control their anger, their frustration, etc. The only things you can really do are seek counseling, try to explain to them, bring them to this group and have them watch some videos or read some of the conversations that are relevant to what's going on with you. And if you're in the Migraine Buddy group on Facebook, you can go to the search bar and put in topics, and you'll find posts that correlate with that. You can also come to my YouTube channel. There's 24 videos now, and I think this is 24. But you can do your best, but if people are toxic to you, sometimes you need to get away from those relationships. Now, I know when we're talking about spouses, that's not an easy thing. The best you can do in that situation is to try to get them to understand and sympathize. And if they can't do that, that's a problem. So, as far as that relationship trouble, we always worry about our health affecting the family. We shouldn't have to worry about that. Your family should be worried about us. We have to worry about our own short-tempered responses to anything and anyone during a migraine event. We gotta, try to limit that. And if it's something we can't control, let our significant others and the people around us know that when you're in the middle of a migraine attack, maybe it's not a good idea to engage us on anything more than just how can I help you. Most of the time we're just looking for someone to listen and pay attention. So, we worry that we're missing out on life, and we're always wondering if there's a solution. Pardon the papers I'm moving around. Is there a solution? Now, what I've been talking about is prepare your family by telling them how to help and be your own advocate. Because if you're not, who? Be clear with your health providers and tell them what you need. If they're not willing to listen, you can make a change, or you can stand your ground with that physician if that physician is someone you trust. Just tell them where their mind and your mind is not coming together and what you expect. Make time to be happy and de-stress when you're able to. Live life. Try to be, or at least have some plans or some ideas that when you're feeling better, I'm going to try to do this. Now that's, as far as de-stressing goes, you can use essential oils. You can put some headphones on, and I'm kind of dating myself, and listen to some relaxing music like Pink Floyd, and try to de-stress. And always, if you're talking to family and friends and coworkers and bosses and stuff like that, talk to them when you're not in the middle of an attack, when you're good. Tell them what to expect and how to help. Yeah, I know some of this is repetitive, but I can't stress it enough that we have to advocate for ourselves, and most of the time it needs to be done when we're not in the middle of an attack. Another avenue, and not trying to offend anybody, but faith and prayer. If you are a person of faith, prayer can help you de-stress and give you hope. So let's not forget that all of this emotional stuff we've been talking about, and I know I'm running a little long, let's not forget strong emotions can trigger our migraines. We have to try to keep them in check. So one of the examples I give, and it's been more than one time, but the worst example I can think of is my wife and I were in our backyard doing some gardening. And you're digging in the dirt with your hands and planting this and that. Well, during that time, let's see if I can get this in here, I lost my wedding ring. And the emotional distress of that sent me into a sudden onset migraine. It was, I guess you could almost consider it a cluster headache, but it came on just instantly, and the pain was so bad. My wife came over. She was trying to calm me down, give me water. I'm sitting on the ground, leaning up against a tree now because I can't get up. I'm in panic attack mode. The migraine is just killing me, and she had to do what she could to bring the situation down where I could get up and go in the house. But we did find the ring. She managed to find it near where we were digging in the grass, so it had come off. I think at the time I had lost some weight or something, and the ring wasn't real tight. So, all of this said, do your best to be your own advocate. Let everyone around you know what you're dealing with and how to help you. That's the bottom line for this whole video. Again, this has been Migraine International Patient's Perspective. My name's Stephen Lyford, and please subscribe to the videos, and if you would like and share this, it might help someone else. Have a great day, guys.